Da-da-da, Facebook Live, here we are live once again from Rythmia Life Advancement Center, and we are just going to wait a few moments as people join on, making sure that, yes, we are live, and they're our first person to usually wait for about 50 people to join on before we get started. Maybe what I'll do today while we're waiting is just remind people of Gerry's book, the book by Gerry Powell, the CEO of Rythmia. Shit the Moon said. We just held a promotion over the last probably 8 weeks where people took pictures of themselves with this book and with the hashtag Shit the Moon said and posted on Facebook and Instagram, and it was quite a successful event. We got about 8 people won free trips to Rythmia, so that's really good. Let's see who's coming on here. Adam Bell, Greg, welcome from North Dakota. I bet it's cold there now. Daniel, Isaac, hey Isaac, Tina. So we're up to 30. Just killing time here until we introduce our lovely guest for today. And yeah, do something to make us feel good, like giving us thumbs ups or little hearts, or say hi on the chat feed. Love your broadcast, Greg says. Excellent, thanks. Of course, I'm filling in today for Gerry, as he just left today to on off-site business trip. And so now we have reached the magic number of 53 in 2 minutes. That's it. Most people expect Gerry here. It's like going to a Michael Jackson concert and instead getting Tito instead of Michael. So sorry about that. But today, my name is Christian Minson. I'm the director of the Breathwork program here at Rythmia. We got plant medicine and breathwork that go hand in hand to create the bulk of the program. So I'm filling in for Gerry Powell today to do our interview with the lovely Jennifer Patterson, who's been one of our guests here. This segment is I Got My Miracle, where we interview somebody who has been through the program for the past week and just get a firsthand account, raw, unedited, unfiltered. So none of this has been rehearsed. And in fact, I just got Jennifer about 2 minutes before this broadcast started, so it wasn't even prepared in her mind. So first of all, I have to say thank you for coming here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so let's just look in. Greg, Christian, you're the man. I can't wait to you to teach me how to breathe again. Excellent, Greg. Kimberly, hi. Anna, George from Ontario, excellent. Daniel, hey Daniel. Daniel's one of the guys who works with us in the Malibu office. So let's get started here. So once again, Jennifer, thank you. And I'd say perhaps to fill you guys in, one of the biggest miracles is perhaps that you're here doing this interview, as you told me just before we went live that you're pretty much an introvert.
I'm very introverted. I would never, ever normally do anything like this normally.
So good. So something has changed here, right?
You had to talk me into it pretty
pretty forcefully. Don't show them the bruises.
You're right, though. It does push your boundaries. It's good to do things like that.
Yeah, and I would say that this program is really designed to push your boundaries on many levels. Have you found that besides just having to be asked to do this interview this week pushed your boundaries in many ways?
In many ways. It's the hardest thing I've ever done besides childbirth, honestly, to be honest.
Really? The hardest thing since childbirth?
Aside from childbirth, yeah.
Wow.
Those have been the 2 hardest.
Wow, so let's get into that. So
that sounds terrible.
It can sound a little concerning, especially to those who have experienced
it. It's just the truth, but it's so worth it.
Right, and And it's great that we bring out first that is the truth, that you know, we often say this is the hardest work you'll ever be glad that you did. And in talking to you just briefly on the way down, it seemed that despite the difficulties, that it was actually a very productive and enlightening experience for you.
Yeah, yes.
Well, good.
Yes.
So maybe we'll just take it step by step, because if the listeners know or don't know, the program is designed. We start the week with a breathwork session or two. Those are our first ceremonies, and then we move into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday plant medicine ceremonies, and then wrap it up Friday and Saturday with more breath work to kind of bring you back and start to focus you on heading home. Did you arrive in time to do the breath work on Sunday, or?
No, my flight was delayed, but I did it yesterday.
Okay, so we'll talk about that at the end of the week here then. So your first real ceremony experience was Monday.
Yes.
Right, and we frame this experience at Rythmia with the 3 miracles. When we say I got my miracle there, Rythmia has a very specific definition of miracle. Of course, we allow the whole, people have their own individual things they're working on too, but in the Rythmia program, there is the show me who I become, meaning what am I not willing to see, do, feel, or hear, that can be revealed to me. Then it's merge me with my soul at all costs, we often add, and then heal my heart, or repair my heart. So you entered the first night, and the first night we do, the Brazilian medicine, the daime, and it's meant to be a lighter journey, introduce you in, and tell me how your experience went then.
It was, initially it was rough, of course, because I was so sick, everything that you expect. So, but once I was able to purge, I saw not only who I had become, but why I had become that, why I had become that person.
Excellent.
So it was amazing.
So
good.
So why the why? Can you give us a little details there? What you saw, life experiences, or you saw what?
I saw that I've suffered from depression since I was a little girl. Since I can remember, 5 maybe, I don't know, as long as I can remember. And I had become someone that was sort of half dead, half alive, half dead. Not all the way dead, but,
like a living zombie.
Yeah, and I saw that first, and then she just talked to me. Mother talked to me the whole time, and she just said that I had become that person because that is what I thought I deserved. I didn't think I deserved anything better than to be depressed and to have those, episodes of depression that were so bad. But it was a good thing. It sounds like it's negative, but it wasn't at all.
All right. So, and that's part of that whole show me who I become part. It's like before we can really claim who we truly are, our perfection, our higher self, we have to get a good understanding of who we become. When we can admit who we become, what flaws, what liabilities in our character are there, then we can actually step forward in truth. If we keep denying that, then that continues to be a thorn in our side as we move through life. So yeah, it's a very necessary part of our whole experience, even though sometimes it's not the brightest information to get. Oh, I see that I'm not as great as I thought I was, or a confirmation that this is I'm not as bright as I hope to shine at this moment. in that now, you mentioned too depression, and that's the miracle that you came here to try to overcome, to actually lift your depression.
Absolutely.
Okay, and did that happen in the course of the?
It did. The funny thing is, I had read accounts of people that once they decided to use the medicine, mother would start working on them prior to actually taking your first drink. And my depression left the day before I came here.
Really?
Yes. And it had been, this episode was 5 months long. It had been,
5 months in a sort of a depressive slump, and then the day before you arrive at Rythmia, the depression actually lifts.
It did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're not the first to report that. And in fact, if you choose to come to Rythmia, I often, we often get reports that the minute people like pay to come here, all of a sudden stuff starts happening, like their life starts rearranging. I even, when I came here to start work, on my way to the airport, I felt like I was going to get sick, and I actually, a roommate of mine was driving me to the airport, and I said, I hope you have a bag or something. We found something, and I purged there in the car, no medicine or anything in me, but found out that it was about the time that they were having the ceremony that night at Rythmia, and it was apparently a pretty wild one that night. But so I just felt like this medicine was reaching out and embracing me and saying, "You're part of my clan." Yeah. So interesting things like that can happen. So that happens. Your depression lifts before you even get here. Then the first night, you say it was rough in terms of the purging, the sickness,
the nausea was rough. The visions were rough. It was she was just mirroring the depression, I guess, because it was just this icky, death around me, and it's just awful. But once I purged, then right as soon as I got done with that, then it got, then it was more meaningful, I guess you would say.
You got the clarity, you got the conciseness,
and the visions. Then I could see who I had become, and then she told me, like I said, why.
Beautiful. So that was the first night,
Yes.
and then you woke up the next day. How'd you feel the next day?
I felt awful. I'm just going to be honest, because so all week I've been sick during the day. I was on tea and toast for 4 days straight.
Tea and toast.
Just tea and toast. That's all I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just achy and tired. It was really difficult. But
so why did you keep going? You're so glad you did.
I'm so glad I did it.
Yes. So this is the part that I think the listenership's really interested in is like we're not trying to hide the fact that this is hard work, and you get here before you get here, we're letting it be known. When you get here, we're telling you, and you saw yourself, and maybe you were one of them. By Wednesday or Thursday, people want to escape, want to kill us. They're like, I don't. That's good. That's good. But we know that's part of the program. We get them through that that slump, and then invariably, and we've got a 95% miracle rate to prove it, that that people make it to the other side and then feel that they get what they came for. So we're in night 2, day 2. Not feeling that good, but it comes around. But you still, is there any question in your mind that you were going to take the medicine that night? Or?
That didn't come until the 3rd day.
Okay, so we'll talk about that. But so the second night, you're going in. So the second night is our Costa Rican blend, the medicine made on site by our very own shaman Brad, and then he leads the ceremony.
He was so good.
Yeah? Tell me more.
He helped me, because it was both nights they helped me. I don't remember the name of the shaman from the first night, but he helped me too.
Scott.
They were both incredible, and the fourth night also. But sorry, I got off track.
No, so just that the Brad was your shaman on the second night, and just kind of get into what your experience was there. So the next miracle that we go for after showing me who I become is to merge me with my soul.
Yes.
And it seemed like in the brief chat we had before that you pretty much got these in sequential order each night. So this was merge me with my soul night,
right.
And tell us how that all came about.
So same thing. I had first drink hallucinations were pretty. They weren't scary. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was just very like what depression feels like. That's all I can explain. Just yuck. And then a lot of nausea, waves of nausea, which is totally normal from what everyone says. Then the second drink, and I couldn't purge. But once I had the second drink, then I could purge. So same again. Once I purged, then I was able to, go ahead and then have the visions and really do the work at that point. So I'm trying to blank right now.
So what did the work look like? What did it, as you purged, and how did it come about that what was your experience of your soul merge? How did you know that had happened?
It was, I did so much work around my mom, and because that's the initial trauma is, I was given away at birth. So there was, I did tons of work with her and healing that and rectifying that. I mean, Mother helped me do the whole thing. It was mostly her telling me and showing me and me listening. And also with my son, tons of healing work around my son and I. And then finding, after I did so much work with my son, I found that little girl. I mean, it sounds so cheesy. It sounds ridiculously cheesy, but I found her, and that's how I merged back with my soul.
So what sounds cheesy? What's cheesy?
Oh, like
that?
You found a little girl. That sounds, I don't know.
Did you describe that? Was there a vision that you saw a little girl playing on the playground, in the closet? What was
No, I saw my school photo of, I was maybe 6 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I look so sad, and I just look so, there aren't really many happy pictures of me when I was a kid, so I don't know. But anyways, so I was looking for her, couldn't find her, no one could find her. That I went through this period where no one cared, whether they found her or not, but I just kept going and going and going. Finally, I don't know who that is really, but we found her.
Sense of you and some other entity, some other force,
well, Mother for sure.
Right.
She was talking to me the whole time. I don't know who else. I know they were more than just her and I, but I don't know who those other people were.
And when you say mother, you're talking about the plant medicine.
Yeah.
That's for those of you who don't know, we often refer to the medicine as the mother or madre or mother ayahuasca. So it's a personification of the energy that seems to come through. So you and the mother found you, the little girl that's you, which sounds to me very beautiful.
It was really
cheesy.
It was beautiful. Oh, thank you.
And so that is, that's the sense of the soul merge that you got, that you were reunited with that innocent self that before the split, essentially. And we, here at Rythmia, we talk about the soul splitting at some age, and this is universal. The thing that happens to all of us as humans is at some age we split from ourselves, split from our soul, and the moon told Gerry the information that he got in his downloads was that this is by design. We humans split in order to learn something about ourselves that we can come together more whole than before. So, but now you got your soul merged. So this is day 2 ends. We've gone through day 1 with the Brazilian medicine, and you found out who you are. We went through day 2. You got the Costa Rican medicine and merged with your soul, found your little girl. So it's the morning of day 3, and again, you're not feeling that good. There's still tea and toast.
Yeah, another tea and toast day.
And that's sad because we have such great vegetarian, vegan food here.
Well, I know that now. Today was the first day that I could eat.
Did you gorge? Did you just eat everything?
No, I couldn't. It's probably better that I didn't.
But you enjoyed the food.
I did.
At least one day of food. Did you do any of the juices?
So good.
Yeah.
As sick as I was, that piece of toast and the tea, it did taste really good.
Very good. So even our toast is good. All right, so day 3, you're still a little ill. Was there any question then about going to the ceremony that night?
I was going to go, but I was like, I'm going to get the tincture. I'm going to ask for the tincture. I'm not going to drink. And then sure enough, I just was like, nope, I'm doing it.
All right, so good. So you went in at least that I'm going to sit in the ceremony.
Yeah.
I might do the tincture, and for those who don't know, the tincture is a spray, basically a microdose spray of the ayahuasca. We sell it in an aftercare program that we have, but some people who either can't do the plant medicine or those who like had a rough night and still want to sit in ceremony but aren't sure that they're going to take the medicine again can do the tincture, and it just puts you in that vibrational frequency. So you thought you were going in like that, and now Wednesday is ladies' night, the night where the women shaman really come and produce a very beautiful ceremony. That being said, it's often the medicine often hits people pretty strongly as well. So you went in, you thought you were going to do the tincture, you end up doing the medicine. What were your thoughts then? It's like, oh shit, I just did it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was glad that I didn't give up. That was one thing that the mother kept saying the whole time too, was that you give up too easily. You need to not do that anymore. And I knew that. I've known that. But it's a really good knowing it and then having someone else tell you that is divine is 2 different things.
Right on. So telling you, but then also giving you the strength to actually act differently.
Right,
so
exactly.
So this was putting, and this is, to me, this is the true value of this whole program. It's not the lights and the colors and all the fantastical stuff that can come, but the true life transformation, the difference between you giving up and actually sticking with it, choosing in that moment, even though it was hard, even though you were nauseous, and even though you didn't feel good, that you still said, there's something more for me here, and I've got to keep going with the program. I mean, to me, that is the miracle in and of itself.
Well, I had to heal my heart. I couldn't go home without, right?
All right, and
that's what I'm here for, ultimately.
Right, and that's the one for this night, right? So we've merged with the soul, or we found out who we become, we merged with the soul. Now it's Heal Your Heart night, and it's with the feminine energy. Did you feel like the feminine energy of the Wednesday night ceremony have anything to do with it, or did it was it independent? Your heart healing independent of that particular energy?
It was definitely independent because it didn't happen until the last night.
Oh, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Okay, so what happened on Wednesday night?
Wednesday night was a lot of the same. First drink, second drink, horrible nausea, and the icky. I had hallucinations and stuff, but nothing positive, but nothing terrifying either. That was my biggest fear coming here, was that I would have terrifying, visions, but that didn't happen.
Did you ever ask the medicine as you prayed on it before you took it, to be gentle with you, or to not give you terrifying hallucinations, or how did you relate to it as you took it?
I actually didn't ask for it to be gentle, because I asked for it to do what's for my highest and best good. Because I thought if it has to be terrifying, then that's what I need. I didn't want to. I was afraid of it. I was afraid of it, but if I needed it, I would take it.
Wow, now that's beautiful, because that's and in my belief that's probably what spared you from having to go through the terrifying part
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's our willingness that is the medicine plays with. If we're unwilling, it's not that the medicine wants to be harsh to us, it's that our resistance then creates this negative feedback loop that brings out the darker parts of us. And as we say in this process, though, what's coming is going, so that anything you see is not anything that's being overlaid on top of you, anything that's being added to you. But if there's any darkness that you experience, it's actually because it's coming up and out. And the good news is, as you see it, it's because you're essentially waving goodbye to it. But it can be disconcerting in that moment that it passes the threshold of your consciousness. But you didn't experience terrible darkness, but you did experience, as you said, some negative or some darker toned energy.
Absolutely.
Right. And so what do you feel like the significance of Wednesday night was? Was there anything?
Well, the biggest thing was that she healed my hands. I don't know how to that sounds crazy too, but I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 22 years, so and I want to do something in the healing arts, but I don't know what that looks like. I want to do some sort of integrative medicine, but I don't know what that looks like yet. So she just healed my hands so that I can do what it is that I'm going to be doing. I don't know what that is.
So describe that a little bit. When you say healed your hands, did you have what we call sacred surgery? Did you?
I did have that.
So describe what went on.
Just, it was like I could feel all the energy running through my hands, and I did it to myself. I fixed each finger and each little tendon, and everything was fixed. I mean, it seemed as if I was doing it myself, but of course it was her.
Yeah, so you felt guided to do the repairs. So sometimes people get the surgery done by other entities, often alien type of creatures seem to appear and be the doctors, so to speak, or the surgeons. But in this case, you felt like you were the one being operated on, as well as the one doing the surgery yourself with guidance from that higher energy of the mother. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, good. And so there wasn't anything necessarily wrong with your hands, like arthritis or that?
No. She was just preparing me to use them for healing, some kind of healing. I still don't know what that means. But.
Excellent. Maybe healing touch.
Maybe. I've looked into all those things.
Good. I know a lot of nurses and practitioners who have gotten into the healing touch.
Yes,
that's true. Well, great. So this is Wednesday night now. So we passed the hump, but you wake up the next day, and all these ceremonies so far have started about 5:30 at night. They end anywhere between midnight and 2 a.m. so that it gives you a little bit of sleep, if you can sleep at all. Then Thursday you wake up, and in the wake of the coming Colombian ceremony, the final night is with one of our star shaman who comes in from out of town. This time it was Leonardo, and they come in the whole Colombian fanfare. It's an all-night extravaganza. We start a little bit later at 7:30 and then go all night long until the sun comes up. So again, that morning you're back to your tea and toast, still the same nausea, the same feeling, not so feeling good. And
I'm so glad it's the last day. I'm so glad of ceremony. Of
the plant medicine ceremonies, because certainly we've got a few more days with breathwork going on. So you're in it that morning. What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm so glad and so grateful for all the work that I did every night. I mean, it was amazing, and I was so glad the depression was gone. And so, you know, it's a bittersweet because you feel terrible, but you know that's temporary. The physical feeling physically sick is temporary.
Right. Well, good. And I don't know that. I mean, you say that, which is great because that is such a mindset that helps to move you past it because it is temporary. Yeah. It is that everybody gets over it, but not everybody realizes that, and that's the value of ideally doing this now for all of you out there is that we realize that there are. You often don't feel that great physically. You often don't feel that great emotionally. But these are temporary experiences. You're allowing yourself. It's like you're the shell, and you open yourself up, and now all the vulnerable guts are exposed, and it's not comfortable. It's not it's not pretty, but you're still in this safe container of Rythmia to be able to be open until the program ends, and we close you up nice and neatly and ideally send you home as a new and transformed being. But so despite the fact that you're feeling nauseous and sick, you're actually grateful for what's gone on up to that point. Yeah, so you can make that distinction between what you're feeling physically in the moment and the work that feeling is a result of that you've been doing up to that point.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it's then day 4. We're going into the ceremony 7:30 at night, and you haven't healed your heart yet. Did you have any apprehension that was going to happen, or did you go in with full trust?
No, I was afraid that it might not happen. So I had periods of full trust and periods of if it doesn't happen, that's going to suck, So I kind of vacillate back and forth between the two. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for here. So describe how the night went then.
It was amazing.
Amazing from the get-go?
No, it was the same. The first drink, the ickiness. The second drink, the ickiness. Can't purge. Just can't. Want to, but can't. Just dry heaves. Awful. But the shamans, they're amazing. They helped me so much. So
how do they help? They
just worked over me and did healings, and it just encouraged me. He would tell me, "You're doing good work. You're doing good work. Just keep breathing. Breathe in the good. Breathe out the bad. Just that whisper in your ear."
So the shaman would come to you individually and check in with you.
Both nights, because I was doing so much work, I guess, but both nights they individually came to me. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So all 3 nights.
All right, so you got some individual check-in,
yes.
And where you both coaching and encouragement verbally as well as their energetic release techniques, and
yes.
Good.
It feels so good.
And so you actually felt something from that
yes.
It started to move the energy and shift your feeling from that achiness to, again, the part where you could actually enjoy the process.
Absolutely, yes.
And then so describe what happened. How did you feel your heart healing come on?
So I thought it was masculine. How did you put it? It's masculine energy, like Wednesday was feminine energy. I can't remember exactly.
And Thursday, it's a bit more masculine approach. The plant medicine itself is more of a feminine plant, feminine energy in general, but the approach, the Wednesday night has more of a softer feminine approach with the women leading, and then Thursday with all the pomp and circumstance and the men leading it tends to have a little bit of a masculine edge, but that protector masculine.
Right. So I thought and I had it in my head before I went to ceremony, I was like, okay, well, if it's masculine, then I'm going to go through each male relationship. Dad, I have 2 different, I have a dad and then I have a bio dad, but anyway, I have a true dad and a bio dad. So that was my approach to it. I went through each relationship and some more work with my mom actually, because that's the crux of a lot of it. But mostly all the different male roles and people that have been of influence in my life that have been males. So healing my heart with each of those relationships. And by the end of that, by the time I had gone through those people, it was good.
Yeah, so one by one, all the primarily male relationships in your life, other than your mother, would come up, and like, can you describe one particular one at all? Like how that would happen? Would you meet them face to face, an image of them, or would you just get a sense of the energy of that person, or what?
I would get glimpses of faces. Yeah, I would get little glimpses here and there, but mostly it was just mother guiding me and telling me why this happened, why a certain thing happened, and where that person was, and then I would, at the end of that, I would send that person love. And initially, it would seem like I couldn't. When I first started working with each person, it seemed like I couldn't. There's no way I could send them love. But by the end of it, the culmination of it was that I was totally fine and able to send them on their way with.
So it got easier with each person, kind of thing. Was that love a forgiveness? Did you feel like forgiveness was really a major part of this equation, or that there was the sense of you've been holding resentment or animosity towards each of these particular individuals?
Not all of them, but a couple.
Did you find that? Were you surprised that you were able to forgive somebody that you thought you would never forgive, or that? Yeah.
Because I've always said I forgive them, but I was very much in my head about it. Mm-hmm. Like, of course I'm not going to be angry. Of course I'm not going to be bitter. Of course, But it's different when it's here versus here.
Forgiving from the heart, forgiving, energetically forgiving.
It's way different than.
So can you describe that difference at all? Like it's
just real. It's real. Whereas when you're in your head and you're saying that, it's not really real. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to stay bitter. You're supposed, because I'm a spiritual person, right? I've been doing this since I was 23 years old, so I'm not supposed to.
Right. It sounds like the head is still the you shouldn't feel that way. Right. So okay, I won't feel that. Yeah. But the heart was really, I feel it. I forgive. And how did that make you feel?
I loved it. It was great. I loved it. Because that's what I had always been striving for in meditation and in my spiritual practice. Because I knew that's what I needed to do. I know it's not good to hang on to that stuff. But I felt, and that's what brought me here, I felt that the depression is a result of subconscious stuff. Because consciously, I was good. So I'm like, it has to be subconscious. It has to be stuff that I'm not able to control. Because I've gone to therapy and I've gone to, I've done all these things that would make it so that the depression's not there.
Wow. And that, I think, is another key insight, that a lot of our, life in our everyday life can be beautiful, can be wonderful, and yet we're not connecting with that, and somehow we're either depressed, or we're angry, or we're sad, or upset all the time. And it's like, it's because we're not connected with what's around us, because all of this stored energy, which usually comes from negative experiences that we've suppressed or repressed in our lives, that energy continues to leak out and color color our perception of the world. And so no matter how sunny it was, you'd be depressed.
Yeah, some days, yes, many days actually. It was so frustrating because you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Does it make sense now?
Yes, because I know I did that to myself.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, do you feel like this will stick? Do you feel this is permanent? Do you feel?
I hope so. It has to be. I mean, everyone says that it will.
Well, everyone says it is, but that's the same way, you can forgive from your head, but
True.
you feel so. What do you feel? How does it feel as far as, do you feel like you truly changed? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do.
I don't know. Well, your smile definitely kind of shows that.
Yeah.
So the week's not over though, and we, of course, my favorite part of the week, the breathwork, happens next night. So after 4 intensive days of plant ceremonies, people come to breathwork, and sometimes they actually get more intense experiences than they do with the plant medicine. Give me your take on what happened with the breathwork on just last night. Yeah.
I was really resistant to go. I still was feeling so sick. Even today, I was able to eat at least. But still super tired, sore, totally happy also at the same time, which is a weird dichotomy, but I was. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to go. And then my roommate said, no, you need to go, because she had gone the first night.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you don't want to miss it. It's really, really good. And I'm like, I've been meditating forever. What can they possibly, what? So she's like, no, you really should. So I went, and I'm so glad I did, because this is going to sound, again, super, super cheesy, but I experienced, the only word that comes to mind is bliss. It wasn't the entire time, but it was glimpses of bliss. That's all I can tell you. Like this. And Mother told me the night before, I asked her, when I was done healing my heart, and I was just kind of like, I had free time, because I was done, and I was still in the medicine. I was like, could you show me, please, what bliss is like? And she's like, I'll show you. I'll show you. And then more time went by. We got to the end, and I was like, well, you never showed me. And she's like, no, I will. And then the next night, I got those glimpses of, and I got like angelic, or like heavenly and angelic vision too at the same time, along with the bliss. It was crazy.
Wow. So nothing cheesy about that for sure. And I know, having done that breathwork for the last 11 years, that is completely possible. And that's why, the moon told Gerry that 2 shortcuts to these awakenings is the plant medicine and breathwork. And I'm honored to be here at Rythmia, because I don't know any other place that holds breathwork in such high esteem, that really makes it one of the cornerstones of the program. If ever I've been invited to any place else, it's been kind of like oh yeah, we'll expose people to breathwork and give them a little taster or this or that. But finally, I think people come pretty much because more people know about plant medicine than they know about breathwork, and they come here, to experience that. But I think one of the miracles to me is they leave with this understanding that I can do this myself. I can do this. I have a tool built in that can actually get me to the same states that I needed an external aid to help me with.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm. And we got one more night tonight. You here tonight, or are you leaving?
I'm here tonight.
Okay, so you coming to breathwork?
I am. What time is it?
5:30.
Okay.
5:30, like all the ceremonies. Our ceremonies are 5:30, except Thursday, which is 7:30. Yeah. So great. Well, maybe just to wrap up. So you really mentioned that throughout the week, and even up till last night or even this morning, you still were feeling kind of nauseous, sick. It wasn't the most pleasant physical sensation for you to be in this process. Would you recommend it to other people?
Absolutely. I would recommend it.
And why?
Absolutely.
Why? Having felt that way,
Because I did. Because look at, I mean, all those things that I was trying to heal, I've been trying to heal since I was in my 20s. I'm going to be 50. There's no way I could have done. I knew I had come as far as I could come with my rational mind. I knew it was subconscious. So
and this was the first thing you really did that actually accessed it and cracked that open, huh?
Yeah.
So it was worth all the nausea, all the bad feelings, and that's what I want all you out there to kind of get, that there is. I mean, there's two sides of this coin, and sometimes we gotta go through a little bit of challenge or I wouldn't say pain, but sometimes it can be painful. But the reward, and that's why this place has been so successful so far, because the reward is so much more beyond any amount of, again, temporary physical discomfort. And I appreciate you really bringing that out and bringing that to light. Because, it's one of those things that keeps a lot of people on the edge of jumping in and doing it. And I'm going to feel bad.
Not everybody feels bad, though.
Well, that's a good point, too.
They don't. There were many people that were fine. You know, at night, of course, when you're purging, you feel bad. But during the day, they didn't feel bad. I don't know what the percentages are, but... Right,
and actually, there's in this week, there's going to be a larger percentage of people that even didn't purge at all either. As far as the typical bad sensations of feeling nauseous or purging or whatever, a large percentage didn't even go through all that. So they got all the transformation and none of the back end of it. So
I heard that. I heard a lot of people saying that. I felt like there were way fewer people that were feeling like me.
Oh yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
Well, that's good news, and maybe we do in advance send you a diet to follow and things like that. And for all of you out there who may choose to come, that's for your good. It's like if you'll follow the regimens and the protocols before you get here, you stand a much better chance of having a less physically volatile time. And you can,
I did it though.
You did do it.
I even started the day early.
Well, and sometimes it's just the fact that that energy is buried that deep and held in that region that is around your stomach, and accessing it is going to bring up that nausea. But again, you seem to testify that it was worth it.
So worth it.
You do it again if
Absolutely.
you had to.
I do it 1,000 times. I don't know, but that might be an exaggeration. I would definitely do it all over again.
Well, great. Well, it's been such a pleasure having you here with us. Let's see what time we got. We got a few minutes left. I'm going to tune in to some of the comments, and let's just see if there's any questions that maybe we might ask from. All right. Well, it doesn't give me a chance to go all the way back. So from Mark. Christian, I had my deviated septum healed through sacred surgery along with my left pinky knuckle I broke a long time ago. That was certainly proof of the connection we have with the beings that come to help through this work. I feel so grateful and I can breathe normally again after so many years. Yeah, right on, Mark. Candace joined. She works here. I'd love to get her on sometime to interview just the faces of Rythmia. Dana, Sheila, Zoe, Vivian, do you offer any kind of scholarships to go to Rythmia? Yes, Vivian, we're in the process of creating a scholarship program. One that is on, it will be on Kickstarter. We'll actually have 2 Kickstarter funds. The first one will be the Kickstarter Scholarship Fund. So people all around who have the means can donate, and when the donations get up to the amount to send somebody to Rythmia, we'll take those funds and send somebody. So be looking for that. The other fund is going to be, a lot of people say, how can we support Rythmia? Again, a lot of people with means, they want to contribute somehow. So one of the most vital things we could do is pay off the mortgage here at Rythmia. So there's actually going to be a pay off the mortgage fund too. Those being said, Gerry, the CEO, is also going to do his own scholarship. So he's going to sponsor one person. I can't remember if he said one person a month or one person a week. So he'll have his own sort of sponsored scholarship and then this scholarship fund. So there are ways in the works. So we are listening to that. We're trying to address that need, Vivian, and all those who are thinking that. Does food taste better with the aroused senses? I don't know. Do you want to answer that at all?
Does food taste better?
Yeah.
I think it's going to. For me. You'd be a better one to answer that.
Yeah. What I'd say as far as ayahuasca goes is that you're less concerned about eating. It's like you might have liked to eat, but just toast and tea wasn't enough. I know a lot of people eat more fruits and eat more basic food. It's really a week where the food here is pretty tasty, but it's a week where the tastiness of the food isn't like the primary objective that like you might have at a normal Caribbean vacation where the taste of the food and the strength of the margaritas are like what you're after, right? Those kind of things aren't such a high priority here, especially when you're getting into these higher perceptions and all that. The lower mundane joys of life take a back seat, at least temporarily. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Can you just buy the tincture, or do you have to buy the package? The tincture comes in a whole Rythmia Life aftercare package. Yeah, Mark. Yep. You can take it through customs, so that's okay. I'm hoping to have the opportunity to purchase that. So, all right, great. Lots of questions. Marbella joined. Hi, Marbella, if you're out there. Michelle, I so wish I could afford my miracle. Hopefully you just heard what we said about the scholarship program. I'd also recommend making an intention. Make an intention and put money in a little fund and just keep doing it, and you'll be surprised at how that intention of putting money into a fund will actually start to attract other money, and unique and in strange ways all of a sudden money can appear to get you there. The scholarship fund notwithstanding there. Hi from London, can't wait, just need to book. Do it, Melinda, book, and you'll see how the transformation starts from that point forward. All right. How long is the diet recommended before coming? What do they say? I'd say 3 days, just 3 days? Wow, that's, the longer the better, really. Think about, it takes time to clear out the system. I mean, you've been putting junk in your system for so long. It takes some time to clean it out, but a minimum of 3 days. And you're still going to get the results whether you follow the protocol or not. I love Gerry tells the story of his first ceremonies, and he goes in smashing drunk. He's literally drunk when he arrives at the place, and they do the ceremony that night. So it is, you're still going to get what you came for. It just might be a little rougher if you choose to come in that state. So we're giving you the tools to have the best opportunity for a smoother experience. We're all disappointed didn't win. Sorry there, Gina and Susan. Just breathe. Let's get prana. Bars. All right. Question. Did it bring up things in your subconscious that you had no recollection of until now? So that's a question for you. Did the plant medicine bring up things that you didn't realize were there until it showed up? 30 years later?
I think so. Like a traumatic thing that happened to me. No, it didn't. I have a feeling if I kept doing it, it may, but
Right.
It may.
But for you in this,
me,
pretty much what came up, you realized like what it was. You could recollect that time or that space of where that had come from, or what that person did, or whatever it was.
Right. And a lot of it was, I had, my intuition was telling me that something was a certain way, or someone had treated me a certain way because of XYZ, whatever that was. And then I did the medicine, and she validated that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of that.
Okay. Yeah, good. Was there any counter validation, meaning you had thought one way, and then the medicine said you were wrong on that one? This is how it really was. That too.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, yeah. So it goes both ways there. Let's see. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. A lot of conversation going on. All right. All right. Is there anything that came up in your subconscious that, all right, you answered that one. Tricks of breathwork. Wow. So Sherry, the laminated breathwork chart showed you on tricks of breathwork. Oh yeah, there is a, I don't know if you're answering somebody's question, but I do breathwork tips and tricks, I think is the title of that one. I did a Facebook Live, and if you're looking at the body map chart, what parts of the body, where we store different energies in our body, that's the value of that. I do appreciate these live feeds. Not only is it informative, but you feel connected to others that are watching. So thank you, Tony, and hopefully we can connect with you live here at Rythmia at some point. Adam's saying he likes the live feeds too. Thank you for that. Sherry, I'd like to get the laminated chart. Facebook me, R. Christian Minson, Facebook message me, and we can pick that up privately if you'd like to like that. All right, Sherry. And Dave joined. Hey, Dave. Dave's a regular on my Friday. And finally, yep, that's it. All right. Well, once again, thank you so much for coming on and overcoming that introverted shyness. And I think that just made this interview that much more poignant, and to show that we do transform in this process. So thank you to all you out there who are watching today, and we'll see you. I'll see you next Friday, and I think Gerry's probably back. Well, he may be back. If he's not back, I'll tune in with you next week on I Got My Miracle. All right, see ya.